Chase, let's see the julep.
Oh.
Now you're more of a less traditional julep in that you make the mint syrup, correct?
Yeah. Instead of just making simple syrup, I make basically just as soon as the sugar dissolves in the hot water and I take it off the heat, I just throw a bunch of mint leaves in and let them steep while everything's cooling off, and so you get like a mint infused simple syrup, and it's very refreshing, and it doesn't like border upon like scope or any sort of like toothpaste or anything. Like it's subtle enough.
I just want to watch you sip. Oh, look at that. Chase did warn me before we started this that he was going to be in quote unquote rare form tonight.
Rare form.
So
yeah.
Maybe actually hold on a second. We'll get him on the big screen here.
This is I mean, I'm bordering on Sky Loose at this moment, quite honestly. And we all know how Sky Loose tends to go.
You have a bit of a Kevin Smith vibe going on since you shaved the beard.
That is not the first time I've heard that at all. And sadly it fits. Like, and I can't be like, no, that's not me. But yeah, I totally I can see it.
I mean, given his wife, there's not a lot to complain about.
Well, a lot of it is I have like one more week before it's my 2 weeks after I've been vaccinated, and I can be considered like, safe to like be free amongst the other, wilderness animals. And I want to go and see a barber and get an actual haircut, just so damn bad. And so my hair is just like, my wife does a good job cutting it. It starts getting crazy at this point. So I have to have it.
I've given up on mine and just decided it should just all go.
Powerball. That's the career decision.
Powerball. Yeah. I'm going with my Jason Statham, even though we look nothing alike.
I mean,
no.
There are worse things to aspire to, My wife, my wife doesn't like really talk about like just like hot dudes randomly, but like I remember we were just like randomly like flipping through, and she's like, "Ooh, Jason Statham." I kind of looked. I'm like, "You've literally never commented ever." First of all, one, you've never commented on the guy ever. Two, I'm like, if Jason Statham is what gets you going, like I don't know how you ended up with this, because I got all the hair and I'm much fluffier than Mr. Statham over there. But all right, well, I guess the last person that hasn't like just completely embarrassed himself to start is the good looking one of the group, Caleb. I think he's trying to behave. I think he's just trying to behave because his parents are visiting. But
folks are in town visiting. Not really for the Derby, but it worked out that way.
So there's a chance that the fully mature North American Caleb Knight could just like come like moseying through like the frame like behind you.
Yeah, it's like that time when I had that phone call with my dad and had the Discord on by accident.
Well, the best part is like from the stories you've told about your dad, like I can just imagine him being like talking to your mom and being like, "Oh, maybe we should go visit Caleb. I don't know. What about the first weekend in May? That sounds like a good time to come." Like, yeah. And your mom's probably like, "Oh, I'm sure the weather's lovely." And sure enough, he just wanted a partner in crime to degen the whole weekend. But
I doubt it was a pure happenstance.
Hey, I mean, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a great weekend of racing. Even John Massey, he said, I can't highlight it because it happened before we went live. But he said, for hating the Derby weekend, I've sure been discussing it an awful lot. And if you missed it, we recorded a podcast, Chase, myself, and Mr. Sweet Sassy John Massey, to talk about a little bit about taking a look at big days, how to approach them as just an everyday player, as well as just John Massey's just straight disdain for the graded stakes committee and graded stakes races and Breeders' Cup.
Wrong. He's not wrong. The Derby is. I mean, I also have a beef with the Derby, so I respect the John Massey beefs.
He's going to end up writing just like John Locke, common sense type, just pamphlets about the entire situation.
Wasn't John Locke the guy?
He can troll however he wants. Huh? Yes, he was the guy on Survivor or on Lost.
On Lost? Okay. I was going to say, okay. I just wanted to make sure. All right, Mark is just done with this conversation. So
we're going to John Locke. I thought you were referencing. That's all.
Thomas Paine wrote Common Sense.
Son of a bitch.
Thomas Paine.
And it was John Massey who corrected it.
You knew it.
Yeah.
So this is what we keep him around for. He's way smarter than we are. I mean, way smarter.
Yeah, he was also a philosopher. Yeah, like between John Massey and Road Warrior, we pretty much have any kind of fact check we could possibly want just instantly. So whether it's racing or philosophy or I believe medieval torture devices, like the little like clamps, the little like nipple clamp things. I don't know why that's the first like medieval torture device. Like I could have gone with like a bunch of other ones, but that's
a lot of things you could have gone there with. Nipple clamps probably isn't the
right. Yeah.
See, here's the theory. It's that John Massey and Road Warrior are actually both preparing for a duel to the death in Jeopardy with Andy Serling head to head, and so they're constantly trying to acquire more knowledge so they can out Jeopardy.
That would be some must see TV right there.
There we go.
Oh man! All right. Well, let's kind of just jump into here. We got a lot of races to cover. We're just going to cover the graded stakes here. Mark, I think you're done pretty much taking any kind of money for the Group Pick 6, but
Group Pick 6 is still open. We would take more money. We played around with some tickets tonight. Big sequence, very competitive. We would take a little more. So if anybody's interested, PM me, hit me up on the Twitter, and we'll get you pulled into that pool.
Awesome. And fair warning, I did tell everybody, and I warned all the on the wrong lead team this, but I do plan on possibly getting Caleb drunk. I got all high proof whiskeys here. So I got two different versions of Booker's, and I got a Maker's Mark store pick. Mark, are you on the cider or what are you doing?
No, I went over to do a little bit of Whistle Pig. This is a Whistle Pig store select. So
Chase, I was trying to
do the Caleb though.
Chase, I know you got the julep. What do you got in that julep?
The first one I had was Four Roses. The refill was the 1792 Sweet Wheat.
Okay. Caleb, what do you got there?
I'm rocking some Blantons tonight.
Okay. So we got a wide array. We got a rye. We got unicorn. Got way too hot whiskey, and then we got Chase with the old standbys. Although the sweet wheat I think is kind of hard to find, but I've never had it. I've heard it's good though.
Yeah, no, it's delicious.
So we're gonna go ahead and get started here with the Alishiba Race 6 on Friday. Mile and 16th for 4-year-olds and up. We're going to have a real short price favorite here, 4-5 on the number 6 Maxfield. And I'll tell you, man, Maxfield is going to be trying to do something that doesn't usually work out all that well at Churchill Downs, which has come from off of it. So I think 4-5 is going to be this is going to be one of the favorites I'm going to be heavily against in this sequence. Caleb, I know you are just like a huge Maxfield apologist. So you're singling Maxfield here, I'm guessing?
I've hated Maxfield in every start of his career, so you must have me mixed up with somebody else. That being said, I probably will single Maxfield here because who else do you use? And I know you're going to use Roadster, and I don't want to hear about it, but it's like the only other horse that actually interests me is the Turfway horse, Visitant, the one. Only because there's a blatant lack of speed. This horse has the rail. He has Rispoli. He has shown speed in some races. I mean, he is bred to like the dirt. I mean, I don't know. Like, I kind of want a new face maybe, but yeah, Maxfield should really beat this race or beat this field, but there's not going to be any value, it's a terrible, terrible race.
I will say one thing that's kind of interesting in here is that there is only one horse in this field that has won a race not on Lasix, and that is that one Visitant. So everybody's favorite diuretic has been taken away, and does that inherently move down Maxfield? Is that what happened last time out? He didn't have Lasix to fall back on, and that hurt his performance. I think it's a kind of an interesting case to be made there.
I mean, I'm only using 2 horses in this race, and none of them are named Maxfield or Visitant. Caleb obviously knows me all too well and knows I'm going to be using Roadster because I don't know. I mean, I'm just hoping and praying. But my top pick in this race, which I was completely wrong yet right on last time out, is going to be the 4 Chess Chief. I'm going to go back to the Chess Chief well here. He won that last race and beat the likes of Owendale and Enforceable and won it in not the way I thought he was going to do, because I want to say everybody and their mother thought that Chess Chief was going to wire that race. And he was 3 lengths back like the entire race and then just closed, which at Fairgrounds is probably even more impressive than trying to close from a couple of lengths off at Churchill. So I think Chess Chief's going to be more forwardly placed this time out. There's not as much speed. So I think that this is going to set up nicely for the 4 or the 5 here. I think Maxfield's going to leave himself with too much to do. Roadster's coming in not really with the greatest of form, but, if he races back to his 3-year-old and 4-year-old form, I mean, he probably wins here, but Chase, what do you think?
I think that this race makes me hate myself and everything that I stand for, because I just kind of don't see anyone beating Roadster. Like, it seems too easy. It seems kind of too obvious. Also, when it comes to horses just kind of let loose on the front end. I'm not sure who else is going to go with Roadster, and if no one does, I mean, that's Bob Baffert horses make a career out of running away from people who are content to just kind of watch them run away from them. So yeah, I kind of want to see what Roadster can do here. Chess Chief helped me beat Murphy, so I love Chess Chief. Don't get me wrong. I feel like Roadster is it's either the lazy way or it's the confident way to go about this. And I've got a lot of just nude crying and burning my clothes in a trash can and trying to figure out how I'm thinking about singling Roadster here.
I will say that I am glad that this is not part of the pick 5, because there's going to be very little chance that I'm going to be playing. Huh? That's part of the early pick 5.
Yeah, there's the middle pick 5.
On middle pick 5. Well, it's not part of the pick 5 that I'm probably going to be looking at. I'm just glad that I'm not going to be dead like one after Maxfield wins in a romp and Caleb is both right and good looking. So,
see, I really thought you could split out the first from race 6 and play the 6 through 8 pick 3 and actually have like a pretty good chance at a pretty good scoring. Pick 3, if it keeps you from playing the pick 5, it seems like that would be a good little horizontal set to could chalk out, but I feel like you might get some prices in there.
I feel like it's the chalkiest stretch of 3 races on the entire weekend.
Sure.
Mark, did you have anything else to add here?
No, I mean, I don't know. I think this race is kind of uninteresting, and I may have some horizontals that go through it, but I'll probably wait. I think I probably saw it the same way. The only other horse that I think has a chance of winning and probably sits, I don't know. He's going to be off the pace. I don't know if he can get there, but that's Sodom on the 2, who's a horse that I've hated on quite a bit for some time. But, his fig's fit. Seems to be a horse that maybe he's starting to figure out a little bit. He needs a pace setup. I don't know if he'll necessarily get it here, but he's the only other one that I can make a case for. But again, it's one of those races where I feel like I'm going to be 4 deep, but I'm probably going to get the favorite, and there's no real value here. I don't really love the race. So
The next race, the Edgewood, mile 16th for 3-year-old fillies. I just got Aunt Pearl like here. Like, does anybody really have anything like else to say but Aunt Pearl here?
No, I don't. This is why I kind of saw this as like a slam pick 3, sequence, because as strong as my convictions are with Roadster in the previous race, kind of how I feel about Aunt Pearl in this race, and so I could really see myself playing like a $5 or $10 pick 3, where I leave myself like 3 or 4 open loose ends in the 8th.
Yeah, I think Aunt Pearl in here is probably the most likely winner on the weekend. Between the 27 races over the Friday, Saturday weekend, I guess. She just kind of towers over this field. She was an absolute monster. Has been an absolute monster. That Breeders' Cup, Juvenile Phillies Turf was just stupidly impressive. And I think she's your most likely winner. Only other horse I want a tiny bit of money through is Gift List, the 2. I think that's everybody's sort of second choice. And, does she get better second off the trip to the States? So she's the only other one I want really any money through.
Yeah,
yeah, she's the only one that's within like 20 points of Aunt Pearl is Gift List, but I feel like, I think you're right, Mark. I think like if you're playing some of those longer horizontals, like you want probably at least a little bit of money going through Gift List, because she'll probably play a little bit longer in the horizontals, but
it's one of those. It's almost a game theory play, because all the money is going to be going through Aunt Pearl, and honestly, she's only 2 points slower on time form than Aunt Pearl was in Aunt Pearl's Breeders' Cup on her last start. So I think everybody's expecting Aunt Pearl to take a big step forward, being a year older. But if that doesn't happen,
Sweet Sassy John Massey brought this up last night, and I agree with it. I'm going to be watching it closely. If Aunt Pearl does anything outside of just kind of pour it on, romp by open lengths, like,
do you say the entire Cox barn?
Do you start thinking that maybe Essential Quality isn't where I want to go in the Derby? Maybe there's another play for me.
I very much agree with that take. I think the hot take there is that, Brad Cox wins at a stupid percentage. He has not been as hot the last month as he historically is. Is something up? Was something a little amiss with his barn? Has everybody else caught up? I completely agree with that take, Chase, and I think John Massey is very, spot on with it as well.
Maybe a possum got into the barn. I don't know if you guys caught that earlier today on Twitter, but apparently someone from some California vet school is very upset that people were taking pictures of opossums by horses because they have like a small percentage chance of transmitting some disease. So shout out to vet school.
Is that the same one that was crossing the track a couple days ago?
Yep. The one that our friend Annika was taking.
Annika got some really good photos of. Yep.
All right. So we saved a bunch of time on that race. So I did want to get to a question in chat, which I think is important for a lot of us here. And that's what's the bourbon pick for Saturday?
Ooh. Probably one of the 2 bottles that I have in the house, 4 Roses or the 1792 Sweet Wheat.
I'm as of yet undecided. I'll figure that out. I feel like I should be drinking a Kentucky bourbon, and I don't actually think I have any Kentucky bourbon here, so I may need to rectify that situation.
Yeah, that was my thought, Mark. I wanted something Kentucky, so I went for the Blantons tonight, and I might go. I got a new bottle just this past week, so I might break out the Old Carter for tomorrow, maybe.
I will be drinking the Kentucky bourbon of the Derby, Woodford Reserve, only because I got another Woodford Reserve julep cup like kit. So now my wife and I each have a julep cup. So Woodford Reserve is it. But Derek said he's got to go with the Blantons. Our friend cameraman Wilkie over here said he's going to use a little bit of Queen of the Green. I was a little I tried to make a case in my head for Queen of the Green, but the amount the horse is going to have to move forward, I think, is just way too much.
If you're building on an exact or a try, maybe underneath, totally. But I wouldn't. Not a horse I would ever put on top.
And we didn't really mention. I mean, because I just think Aunt Pearl has got everything going for her here. But I mean, honestly, Aunt Pearl is going to be lone speed, and like I just really think that this is just gonna set up too well for her for that. And Polka Dot Taylor is making sure to let me know top shelf only.
Was it last year? Last year we had a turf course that was very much playing to like off the pace for Derby Day. Of course, it was also in November and a completely different set of circumstances. But I mean, that can always happen. And when that happens, you had some really, notably classy horses that went down. Aunt Pearl isn't above, just a great track bias herself. So, I mean, you could beat the horse. I'm probably not going to try to, but you could.
I was going to say Alexandra went off at 1-2 today and didn't hit the board. I think they've gotten 2.5 inches of rain at the track, and it'll be interesting. Excuse me. It'll be interesting to see tomorrow.
Oh no!
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Excuse me. 1 second.
All right. Interesting thing about that race too was, the rail was out to like 22 feet today. So, I mean, betting Alexandra. I don't know. I had her to close the pick 3, but I was much more interested actually in the 9 horse that I thought was going to be on the lead, and kind of just faded. Needed like a furlong less, I think, to win that race.
I did make the lead. I like the horse for the same reason. The old school throwback thing is that if you have good turf, obviously they get 2.5 inches of rain in the track, over the pad, and it was rated good today. I think the rain's probably done now for the next few days. But the adage was that the little bit deeper, a little heavier turf would sort of put some sting in the closer's legs, and they wouldn't have quite as much turn of foot in the lane.
Yeah, and important to note too about Churchill's probably one of if not the best drying out track, like quickest. So even though it was sloppy today, I mean it's going to be fast.
Yeah. It'll be
fast tomorrow.
It'll be perfect tomorrow.
Don't be deceived.
They're very good with. Yeah.
Don't be deceived by the turf. I would almost bet they'll list it as firm, and I would guarantee you it plays on the line of good to yielding. So don't be deceived by the way they list the turf.
Yeah, completely agree, Caleb. 100%. And that's kind of why I pointed it out. I think you're going to see some probably wonkiness on the turf where my guess is going to be speed is going to be very good. You're going to want to be on the leader in that first flight. So Josh should do well.
This is one of those angles that I have absolutely zero data to back up, but I feel like has done me right on a few times. Is like if it turns out that this turf is a little bit boggy, a little bit of a mess, I'm going to start looking at the amount of weight that these horses are carrying and start, betting the heavier, weight allowances, because it seems like, that little extra weight helps them get a little bit more traction and kind of kick away, kind of like what Mark was describing, have a little cut, front end speed doing well.
Yeah, John Massey was talking again. The Kentucky, a fast Kentucky turf is very different than a fast, say, Gulfstream turf. And when in Kentucky, that bluegrass tends to be a little bit more slippery on the front end. So again, from a weight allowance standpoint, that horse is getting a little better traction. So that makes some sense.
Cool. I did want to shout out Mr. Jeremy Brown out here saying early times, a true bourbon of the Derby.
Early times is bad times. That's something Caleb had sort of a south of the Mason-Dixon line education. That's like something they teach us in like 3rd grade. It's like you learn, like you're polishing off the Pledge of Allegiance, and then you learn early times is bad times.
That's right. Oh, right. It's about the time that you start your education on alcohol.
Let's move on. We got the La Troyenne Grade 1 mile and the 16th here for fillies and mares 4-year-olds and up. Mark, you're wrong.
It happens a lot.
You want a single She Dares a Devil here, right?
No, I do not want a single She Dares a Devil. Not
okay.
No way.
Okay, maybe you're not wrong. Let's talk, Mark. What are you thinking here?
No, I think She Dares a Devil is probably the most likely winner of the race. and I think there are two other horses though that I am very interested in using in ways to try to get around her. She Shares the Devil may end up as a lone on one of my tickets. If I'm playing something like this race sort of falls funny. It's the second race of the third pick 5 of the day or whatever it is, and it's one before
traditionally the money pick 5, the one
money
smack
pick
dab
5,
in the middle.
It's the one that ends in the Oaks, so the big money pick 5, the one that'll have the biggest pools. So it's a second race there, and so how do you approach a race like that? She Shares the Devil is probably going to be a single on a lot of tickets. So is she the likeliest winner? Yeah, probably. Is she going to be bet and played like she's the likeliest winner? Yeah, she's probably bet and overplayed. There are two horses that I'm very interested in. One of them is the number 1, Envoûtante. Sorry, Josh, to make you go the wrong direction. Envoûtante, to me, second of the form cycle here. A horse that came back in the Azeri, didn't run that great, got beat by She Shared the Devil, but you're getting the second start of that 4-year-old season. Oftentimes that's a big move up angle here. She's a horse that I definitely want to have some money going through. And I think is a horse that if she fires back to that 2 back, that Falls City G2, she is legitimately on par with She Shares the Devil on every fig that I look at. The other horse,
and Mark, real quick, it looks like Choo Choo Baloo over here also says the one is interesting, and Butante here.
Mark, are we finally going to get on the right side of Envoûtante? Like, I'm so excited to think that, like,
we've tried so many times, and neither one of us can get there.
We've done this like 4 times in a row. Like, we got to get on the right side of Envoûtante.
No, I'm sure Josh is going to try to put me onto Dunbar Road, and that is not my other horse.
The Mighty Race Mare, Dunbar Road.
Yeah, I live on Dunbar Road, and I'm not picking Dunbar Road here. No, I mean I think Dunbar Road is a very classy horse. My concern with Dunbar Road is that I think she's she's a classy horse who can beat the next tier easier horses. If you look at races like her Delaware Handicap, look at those types of races. She dominates over the fields that she should dominate against. When she gets versus tougher company, she always has these. There's and John Massey is saying it's envoûtante. But Dunbar Road always does this thing where she has this late surge of energy, and everybody goes, "Oh, look at that! She had problems and she did great in the lane, and better back." And then she just never fires versus this level of field. The horse I'm interested in is the one that Josh has up, Cineas here. Cineas, if you look at her last race, they ran her at 7 furlongs in the Madison. No one was beating Kamari that day. And she, but that is the absolute perfect prep. If you want to get some speed into her, get a race into her. She was off since January. She was off for 4 months. You want to get that, get a little work into her. And then you want to run her back in that next race. I don't know if she's good enough. She definitely needs to improve and probably find a career top as a 5-year-old. But I think that was the perfect prep. And if she fires to her 2 back, that La Canada Stakes that she won when Rispoli was up, she, again, is a major player here at 10-1. So I probably am an A with 2 Bs, and I'll probably just let Dunbar Road beat me in this field.
So this is the end of my, I want to play this pick 3 sequence. And this really caps off the reason I wanted to play it, because I was going to go single in the first 2 legs. And here I was probably going to play 4, maybe 5 different horses that weren't She Dares the Devil or Dunbar Road, and feel like I have a legitimate shot to maybe get around one of those 2, especially with Envoûtante, who fucking owes me something by now. And I don't want to sound like needy, but fucking I need you to win, Envoûtante. But yeah, Cineas is another one I really like. I thought the way Paris Lights won at Saratoga last year was pretty gritty. And so I'm kind of excited to see, maybe what another spin looks like with Paris Lights, because, it looks like the leg stretcher and at Aqueduct didn't go, great figure wise. So maybe that horse is sitting on a big one, second off the layoff. Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like we're getting close to Belmont's birthday. That's got to be that's got to be somewhere in the angles that we play.
4 months, Chase. 3.5 months. 3.5 months.
3.5. Yeah, I mean we're almost. I mean we're almost in Q4 there. Crunch time of Belmont birthdays.
What do you think, Caleb?
Yeah, this is a race where I'm probably going to be 3 or 4 deep and get She Dares the Devil at 4 to 5. But She Dares the Devil is the likeliest winner. I'm not going to rehash everything that was already said about her. She should win, but she isn't really the standout that she'll get bet down as if she was. Kind of like Mark said, she'll be way over bet relative to her chances to win. That being said, I really can't make the case for Envoûtante. Every angle that you could possibly apply to Envoûtante also applies to She Dares the Devil, who is just a better horse, I think. So I was kind of looking outside a little bit of the outside post anyway, and I really do like Sinanis. I think her one race around 2 turns was she ran the doors off that field at Santa Anita. Was that Fig legit? I mean, those horses came back to kind of stink. I don't know, but she won by 6, and the time was solid. The Fig was pretty good. So I am interested in her for sure. I have some worries that she's going to be the wise guy horse in this field, but we'll see. And then, I mean, I'm not totally against Dunbar Road. I kind of think she maybe hasn't moved forward that much since like her 3-year-old season, but she really, her figs are competitive here. I mean, she has run against some nice horses. I'm not against her, but I just don't really know how much I want to bet her at whatever it is, 5 to 2 or 3 to 1. And then Paris Lights is the one horse that I truthfully don't know what to do with. She still looks too slow to win, but she has a ton of reasons to improve. Second off the bench here, perfect over the surface, perfect at the distance. There's a lot to like, but more of a price play, kind of 8 to 1. I would be interested. Like 9 to 2 or 5 to 1, I'm probably less interested.
Yeah,
I agree.
Oh,
yeah,
go ahead, Chase.
Yeah, I wouldn't accept a short price for Paris Lights. Not with the likes of who are in that in this field. And the good news is, I think you probably get it. Given who else is there, that you're gonna have the chance to make the price play. It'll just be up to you to pull the trigger or not.
Yeah, I'm only using 1A in this race, and that's going to be Dunbar Road. I'm going to try and get around She Dares the Devil with what's going to be the clear second choice here. On Figs, Dunbar Road pretty much looks like the fastest horse in this race, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hope that off the layoff she's going to come back, come fire fresh. I'm going to use 3 other horses as B or C types here. Still kind of deciding how I would play this. And you guys talked about 2 of them to death pretty much. The one, Envoûtante, I'm going to use, or Envoûtante, or I already forgot, John Massey's Envoûtante, whatever. I'm going to use Envoûtante, but I'm not feeling like super great. I mean, like the figs look good, but I mean, I don't know. I hate that last race. I hate that Azeri race because you got this weird pace setup where it looked like the Trusca was just going to get out there and just like win on the front end, and Rosario just Rosario'd himself. And I don't know.
Over himself.
Yeah, he Rosario'd all over himself and made a mess. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of that race. I mean, yeah, She Dares Devil won that, but I don't know. I wasn't super impressed, but I know, people are out there, going to bat for her for that. And Envoûtante comes out of that same race, so I don't know. That the Fig came back strong for Envoûtante too. So I guess really like I want to use because of the price, but if I'm being real, if I'm using Envoûtante, I probably need to use She Dares the Devil as well. But you guys already talked about Sinanis, and that'll probably be a C type for me. The other horse I'm going to be using is going to be the 7, Finite. Now I know the last race came across the slop, and it's a Munnings horse and tap it on the bottom, so this horse probably would just like relish any kind of wetness in the ground. And the Fig looks really suspect on Briz. However, Timeform has that race very strong and right there in here, and so all Finite moves a little forward a little bit off that last effort at 4, which isn't totally crazy, and Finite's right there. I know somebody in chat, I think it was Mr. Clark, said that the 7's also Finite's been working with Clairiere, and I think Clairiere's got a pretty good shot in the Oaks. I don't know. Like Mark, I think you brought up a good question. Like, well, how good is Clairiere? Like, we don't really know. Like maybe that means nothing, but yeah, I'd like Finite in this spot. And so I'm going to kind of use lean most heavily on Dunbar Road, and then I'm going to use the 1, the 6, and the 7 here as B's and C's.
So Josh, no She Dares the Devil for you at all?
Yeah.
I like it, honestly. I like the play. If you're talking like you're like a pick a 3 slam or something, right, Josh?
Probably. I haven't really decided how I'm going to kind of approach this. Like if I play the pick 5, which I might not, just because I was thinking about it now again, is like, well, the pick 5 I think starts with the Aunt Pearl race. So like, what I'm just going to single Aunt Pearl. Like, how much value am I going to get out of that? And then, maybe I might do something like I did with the Monomoy Girl race, where the one that Latruska won, where I was like, all right, like going across the race, I used Monomoy Girl, but I played a smaller play singling Latruska because I thought Latruska really had a good shot there and kind of getting value that way. So maybe I start a pick 5, singling like the 2 or something in that race. But I don't know. I haven't really thought about it too much. Yeah, if I'm going to take Dunbar Road at 5-2, 2-1, or whatever I'm going to get on Dunbar Road, like I don't want to take both the chalks. I kind of want to, take my stand with one of them, and the one I think that is slightly better, and see where the chips fall.
I honestly really like that play, Josh. I think you're taking a couple logicals, linking together with a race you have a good reason to be up against the favorite. I think that's a smart strategy especially from a slam pick 3 type standpoint.
All right, why don't we keep going? We got race 9, the 8 bells, 7 furlongs for fillies 3-year-old and up. Or those 3-year-olds, right? Yeah, 3-year-olds. And I already forgot who the morning line favorite in this race is, because I think this was Day Out of the Office.
Day Out of the Office.
Yeah, I thought that this race was kind of wide open, but I did really like Day Out of the Office. Chase, what did you think?
I felt like you had to kind of spread wide, and you had to take the 2 most extreme kind of pace characters from this race. Like I felt like, to be safe, like you needed the fastest early speed horse and you needed the best closer, because I feel like it's either going to be a horse steals something on the front end and completely runs them into the ground, or someone actually makes a big close. And so I was kind of extremely interested in Windmill at 10-1 as the horse that can maybe get out there and set the early pace, kind of pressure the field behind them, make them kind of heat it up a little bit more than they want to, still, save some for the kick home. But if that happens, I'm not sure how well Windmill lasts. And then I see horses like Caramel Swift, who's got a big closing kick at 12-1. And then even Lil Tootsie, another horse that's got a little bit more kick. It's going to have to come from a little bit further back. But, yeah, I feel like it's got to be either I'm on that early speed, and then I've got, like, the one talented closer. And, you can kind of cover yourself through a pretty wide race.
Yeah, this race was real tough for me. I actually ended up taking I just was looking at my notes. I ended up taking 6 horses in this race in kind of an A-B structure. My A's, I'm right there with you with the 5 Windmill. I think Windmill is going to be the speed here. Now, whether or not Windmill is going to want to go that extra furlong and whether she's good enough, I have no idea. But I know Churchill favors speed, so let's bet the horse that's going to get out there. The other horse I was interested in was the 6 Slumber Party. Slumber Party actually. This is kind of another one of those things where I don't know if Briz just didn't really like the races as much as Timeform did. But those 2 7 furlong races, were both pretty good. Did come up a little bit short in the Beaumont, but coming back, coming back off of 3 weeks, actually probably like 4 weeks. I'll take a shot with Slumber Party. Those figs look real strong here. And then I'm going to take the favorite here as well, the 10 Day Out of the Office. I know Day Out of the Office is coming off a layoff, but the horse has been working very well. The horse's figs from her 2-year-old season win this race or come very close. So, just a little bit move up, and I think Day Out of the Office wins this one. So I got those 3 as kind of like my A's in this spot. The 3 other horses I am going to kind of use as B's. The one, Make Mischief. I was kind of looking at it the same way you were, Chase, where, hey, what if this gets stupid on the front end? Like, we're going to need somebody to, who's going to sit a little bit back. And, Make Mischief hasn't really shown a ton of early speed, is going to be cutting back. So I think that I think she's going to sit, 2-3 lengths off of it and might be able to make a run here. Another horse I'm going to use off the cutback is going to be the 3 Super Sensational. Same thing. Like I'm thinking, Super Sensational is cutting back, is going to probably be sitting a little bit further back. In both of her sprints as a 2-year-old, did come off the pace. I know it was on synthetic, but I would just completely expect that she's going to be coming from off the pace. And she finished 3rd in that Fairground Oaks to 2 really good horses, Travel Column and Clairiere. So the horse is going to be getting, I think, a little bit of class relief here. I think this might be the right spot here for Super Sensational. And then I also used the 4 Euphoric. Now this was purely like, I have no logical reason for this other than the fact that fig, when she broke her maiden, was just like ginormous. Like, and if you're going to get 20-1 on a horse whose best fig, which was only 2 races ago, it like matches up with the field, I think this is exactly the kind of horse you're going to want to use as a B. Like, is going to be up against it pace wise, is going to probably be sitting 2nd or 3rd. But it's going to be getting that extra furlong, so maybe the horse is going to be fine sitting, 2nd or 3rd, and making the move a little bit later. But like, I really don't have like. It's kind of a combination of price and fig. There comes a certain point where the fig is so big that you can't ignore, and the price is so big you can't ignore. So the 4 Euphoric is going to make it on my tickets pretty much off that. This is the horse that Haleb, I'm sure, hates and probably never even looked at, because it took this horse like 3 years to break its maiden, even though it's only 3. But I don't know. What do you think, Caleb?
I'm trying to figure out which horses you didn't talk about yet, so just give me a second. So I was listening to a podcast the other day. And,
no, you're tainted. You're tainted now.
They tell us, I think JK said it, you have to know what you don't know. And for this race, I have no idea. I could use 10 horses here, and I very well might. But my strongest opinion here, I guess, is that I'm against Day Out of the Office. I know that she's of all the favorites in this kind of stretch coming up here, I think she's the most beatable. I've seen this movie. I've seen these 2-year-old fillies that run outstanding and then don't progress into their 3-year-old season. We've seen it with Jaywalk. We've seen it with Newspaper of Record. Like, we've seen it enough. This horse hasn't made a start, was scheduled to start at Keeneland, ended up scratching out of that race, and now comes back in a pretty salty field with a ton of speed. It, loses the regular rider because Junior's injured, and picks up a Corrales, who I like Corrales, but that certainly isn't what you really want for the first time on a horse like this in this kind of a spot. So apparently she's working lights out, so that's great. But she's kind of the horse I'm going to be against here. I think there's a ton of other speed. I'm not sure how much she really wants to sit off the speed. And she missed a work. She was a scratch. And I guess if she moves forward and beats me, she beats me. But, I could use probably 8 or 10 other horses in here who I like nearly as much. without going into all of them, I'll just say that my top picks are Slumber Party, the 6, and Caramel Swirl, the 12. I'm really interested in Caramel Swirl, despite being a last out maiden breaker and facing winners for the first time. I've always thought she was a nice horse and just kind of took a while to figure things out. But that last race was monstrous, and I'm very interested in her with a good pace to run at here. I think the morning line's a joke, but I do think you'll probably get 8-1.
John Wilbanks in chat also is a fan of the 12 Caramel Swirl here. He says Dolphin Mott and Sai is at 12-1. Chase, what were you going to say?
I had like a 3-horse take, and honestly, I also kind of have a 4-horse take. I didn't think about it, and now I look at it, I feel like I have to add it now. Abrogate. That horse has been running really, really well at Oaklawn. It's a sprinter in Steve Asmussen's barn with Ricardo Santana Jr. up that crushed at Oaklawn. His everything, all of his horses seem to really just be running extremely well right now. I feel like you might have to use Abrogate there. And that's more of just like it's not necessarily as based on the figures as much as like just visually the horse has been impressive to watch.
How is Abrogate not out of Arrogate? I mean, isn't that so it just really?
Yeah.
I would agree with you guys here. I think
that's like when you're trying to pin someone with a paternity test, and you're like, well, his name is Caleb Jr., so it must be.
must be.
Is it a half to Arrogate?
Is that where they're getting the name from?
Who's it a half to? Because look at that DPI.
See, buyout work out of hot coffee.
Which is a burning aroma. Damn, I don't have it on my stuff, so
I'll Google.
Well, Caleb is digging that out because I'm sure he's going to spit it out here in a second. I think you guys covered all the major players. I think I'm 8 deep here. The only horse that you guys did not mention that I thought was a little bit interesting was the 7 Obligatory, who is a horse that it was very interesting. I capped this race and I was 5 deep. And all of a sudden I looked at works and I added 3 horses, and Obligatory is one of the ones I added in here, who's been working apparently lights out since that Fairground race. You're getting Hosea up for Bill Mott, which is, very, very good connections. Obviously they're in the deep end of the pool here, but I think she's a horse that pedigree says she should like this, and and she fits here. And assuming that there's a fair bit of pace on here, which it seems there may be, she might get a fairly nice setup.
Do we have to at least talk about the Baffert?
No. I already took Roadster today. We don't have to do him anything ever again.
I don't know. Who's Baffert even got in this race? I don't even know. There was
the 8 Calypso on the cutback, Baffert shipping east. I'm not letting that horse beat me, is all I'm probably going to say. I would not be my top pick. I don't think the horse is particularly talented. I think the West Coast 2-year-old, 3-year-old fillies is terrible, but I'm not letting that horse beat me.
Horse can 100% beat me. It's going to take a ton of money. You're getting Joel and Bob and the whole deal. I think we've had this conversation about, are those West Coast figs a little suspect? And I think we all agree that they may be a little bit inflated given how Santa Anita's been playing. Obviously we'll see. We'll know more this weekend if you pay attention early tomorrow. My thing with Calypso is her last 5 races, she's run effectively the same fig. She has not improved, and I think she needs to take a step forward here. And what's the impetus for her to take a step forward off that what was it, St. Isabel race last out? I don't think there is an impetus there. Like, nothing has changed except for she shipped to Churchill. I don't like these horses that show you go, okay, they need to step forward to be a good player here, but they haven't stepped forward in 4 or 5 races. Paired buyers and all, I don't see it.
I mean, my only thought there would be the cutback could be pretty big. I mean, her career best race came going 7 furlongs. I just don't think she wants 2 turns. The pace setup is not in her favor here. I agree with all your points. I'm just, playing devil's advocate a bit. On the cutback, maybe that's something that will work out a little better for her.
Doesn't she even need to improve off that best race by a fair bit to be a player here?
She does, but I guess I don't think she's going to be a short price. I think you'll get every bit of 5-1 and probably more than that. I think that Caramel Swirl is going to take a lot of money. Slumber Party's taking a lot more money than 6-1. I don't like Windmill very much, but everyone I've talked to has mentioned this horse. I'm guessing this horse takes money. So yeah, I think Calypso sort of gets lost. I wouldn't be surprised to see this horse in the 7 or 8 to 1 range.
Okay. I respect that a lot more. 7 or 8 to 1. Yeah, you have to get, and again, you have to get that right price and be paid adequately for the upside. So agreed.
But as the second choice, yeah, I would have no interest.
I'm still trying to figure out who the hell else Hot Coffee has. Why is this so hard?
Do I have to look this up for you, Josh?
Yeah, you look it up. I can't find it for some reason. Normally, I just like search hot like horse and then the progeny, And
what were you trying to look up? I kind of ignored you for a minute.
Hot Coffee.
Hot Coffee.
Who else? Who's that? Who is that Abrogated half to?
Wendelin B is the only other sibling I have listed.
Which sounds just like Arrogate.
Yeah, sounds just like Arrogate out of Commissioner and is beaten by a whole lot of lengths at tracks that Sam Houston or Lone Star.
That's weird because that DPI number is awfully high for 11.46. That's usually a graded stakes or multiple graded stakes winning horse that it's a half to. But oh well. Someone, I'll let John Massey figure it out. I'm sure he can find it. All right, let's keep going on. All right, race 10, the turf sprint, grade 2, 5.5 furlongs on the turf. I really was like looking at this race, and like I like listed like 5 horses that should have been in this race. I mean, they maybe they've like ran too soon, but like I don't know. It doesn't really feel like there's a lot of big names in here. I mean, I think Fast Boat is a really, really nice turf sprinter, but for Fast Boat to be the 7-2 morning line favorite, I don't know. I think the field's a little weak. Caleb, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't think it's a very good field. I agree with you. This is a race that at first when I handicapped it, I was like, oh my God, I have no idea. But the more I looked at it, the more I really don't think it's as wide open as my first instinct kind of told me. I really think there's only 3.5 horses I need here. And I say half because I'm really on the fence on what to do with the 3-horse Faya.
You singler.
Well, you don't singler. That's certainly not what you do. He has a really cool name to say. So that's one thing in the positive column. But coming out of some trash races, restricted races at Gulfstream and Laurel, and allowance at Belmont. The horse is, very fast, but there is other very fast horses in here with the 1 Johnny Unleashed and the 5 Just Mind. Both have huge speed. So I don't know what to do with that horse. It probably ends up making my ticket, but maybe not in the same capacity as other tickets that I'll be playing. The 3 horses who I prefer to Faya is the 8 Fast Boat, the 9 Diamond Dupes, and the 10 Sombaye. I'm kind of staying to the outside here. I always prefer outside draws and turf sprints anyway. But I really kind of think Fast Boat just feels like he gets the perfect trip here, doesn't he? Irad, he secures a trip, staying wide, out of trouble, off of probably 2 to 4 leaders on the front, makes his move and holds off the deep closers. He just feels like he gets the best trip, despite the fact I'm not a huge Fast Boat fan overall. This is also the best jockey he's had in his career. Diamond Dupes, fired the race of his career in this race off of a layoff on turf. From the rail to boot, which is an incredibly tough thing to do, closing from last. And I think that field was better than this field. So something went wrong with this horse. He went off form late. But I do think that this horse I really like. My big question with Diamond Dupes, more so than the layoff, is the Lasix. His one race without Lasix in the Pegasus, it wasn't poor, but it wasn't phenomenal. So it just kind of remains to be seen as far as how he'll handle it. But I am interested in him. And then Sombaye is the other. I really think that as much as I tend to shit on West Coast turf horses, I do think that West Coast turf sprinters are generally better than the East Coast counterparts. I don't know that Sombaye really wants 5.5. I think he's more of a 6 to 7 furlong kind of turf sprinter. But I do think this is a horse that has speed. He ran a good second last out to Gregorian Chant, who, if you don't follow California racing, That horse has rattled off 3 wins in a row in graded stakes at 6 furlongs at St. Anita. This horse was 2 lengths clear of Jolie Olympica, who gave Rushing Fall everything she could handle last year at Keeneland. So that's a pretty strong grade 3. And that's a horse who I think probably works out a pretty nice trip. And Peter Miller, for everything that he is, does get some winners on turf sprints. So those are the horses I'll be most interested in.
All right. Tomorrow in the 10th, Gerardo Corrales gets his first graded stakes, I don't know, probably win in his career with the 1, Johnny Unleashed. I feel really good about this, actually, at this price. I think I get an even bigger price. This feels like this could be the speed drawn at the rail that could maybe just run this short sprint, stakes field into the ground. Like, I've seen it happen a lot lately. These horses just get loose on the front. It's really been flashing, early speed lately. I'm kind of interested to see what getting back, if it's on an off surface, like a good or a yielding, then I really like it. If it's, back to firm, then I like it a little bit less, but like, I'm like fire at will emphatic about Johnny Unleashed here. Like, I feel like that's like a live long shot that I probably have to play tomorrow.
Well, so the fact that you and I are in the same horse chase, I don't know how live this long shot's going to be.
So it's such the fucking Jakarta horse, like 100%. Like I realized I knew we were both gonna like it. I looked at it, I was like, does this horse look like Jakarta? Yeah, it does. But I love it. I kind of love it a whole lot.
So what happened in the last in the Shakertown, which is a field that I would think is maybe a touch better than this race, but is a similar quality field, where the horse, faded to 4th by 3 and got
took
run
a bad
down
step.
The horse late, and
took a bad step late
over good turf.
Okay,
but the form is not flattering on off turf.
Let's be fair, though, right? The horse was beat by Bound for Nowhere and Imprimis, who would be like even money or odds on in this field. So
I have the horse. I have the horse as a B, so I very much respect it. But I sort of. Well, you good, Caleb, you good, Chase?
Yeah, this feels like another one of the races where I have to cover the 2 extremes, because it's either going to be that horse that just fucking floors them on the front, or the one who comes in and cracks open your chest and then just rips your heart out. And the other one that might do that is a horse maybe coming off coming from the back, like I could see like Karatari. Horses are already kind of probably going to be tipped out towards the middle. Sambaye can run from off the pace a little bit, and then even like a horse like Guildsman. I really like Johnny Unleashed, but I could see covering for one of 2 meltdown scenarios with who I pick to play horizontally.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Caleb on the Diamond Oops take. Horse ran its career best race in this last year. It seems to really like this 5.5 furlong turf trip, and you're getting 5-1 with Flo, albeit Flo is winless on the Churchill meet so far. Diamond Oops makes a ton of sense to me, but my top choice is going to be Fia. The 3 horses, going to be forwardly placed. You're getting Fia. Is it Fia?
Yeah. Like the emojis you send.
Excellent.
It's Fia.
Ouch. That's harsh. So whatever, however the hell you pronounce it, his won, last 5 starts. Horse, you're getting Sayas, who's as good as anybody on the turf, is going to be very forwardly placed, if not on the lead, sort of sitting that pocket trip just inside of just might. And the figs here just absolutely fit. I think with a little bit of a softer turf, which this horse does have a win over, and I know Briz has it as the best race of Fire's career. That Laurel race, I think this horse just sort of the 5 I think peels off, who is over 7 or something at Churchill, and I think Fire just sort of inherits the lead and doesn't stop, given this. A little bit softer turf going, and I think speed's going to be really good. And I think at 4-1. I might fire a stupid win bet on that horse.
Can you name me any horse that Fia has beaten?
I cannot. No.
That's my problem with the horse. And it's the horse, the untested, unproven horse that I would like at 8-1. But God, as the what is it, favorite or co-favorite, basically. That's a tough horse for me to really figure out what I want to do with. But I get your point. The figs are there.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, Fire beat Tiger Blood.
When's the last time Tiger Blood did something?
It got in the way like a few races back. Like, I think, just kind of in the way. It didn't do a lot. Just fuck some other shit up.
Doesn't it look like the Gulfstream Park lifted stake specialist horse?
I have no interest in that horse.
You don't like the cheap speed?
No, I went 5 wide. I have 5 horses in this race, and none of them are the 3 Faya in this race. I have 3 A's. I am on the Johnny Unleashed train here. I just look at the company he kept last race, and I think shit. I might even take the Critical Way in this race, who finished 3rd. I mean, he's getting a bunch of class relief here. I think that this is going to be. I don't know. He's going to move forward. I think off that last race, he's going to get that class relief. That fig he ran last time out wins this race. The other horses I'm going to use. You guys already talked Mr. Snake Venom to death here. The 9 Diamond Oops. So I will also be using Diamond Oops. If you go back and look at Diamond Oops Turk Sprints, those I mean, I don't know. They keep running this horse on dirt, and I mean, I guess he's been running okay, but I really think if this horse is stuck to turf, would probably find much softer spots and probably win a couple more races. But I really like Diamond Oops in this spot, especially if for some reason stuff gets stupid on the front end, and my Diamond Oops is going to be the off the pace horse I like here. And then I'm also going to use the 11 Karotari here as an A. Horses kind of come back here into 2020 with some decent form. Finishing second at that stakes race in Houston. I mean, he did lose to Fast Boat, but then he came back and he won the Silks Run. On the front end, but I don't really think he needs to be on the front end to win. So I'm gonna go ahead and also use Karotari based off of form here. I'm gonna use Fast Boat as a B. I might move him up to an A depending on how I do other things, but I hate using like 4 horses as A's. It looks like he's just been working out like a monster. I haven't looked at the worst report, but just the numbers that he's been putting up. So Joe Sharp's probably got this horse cranked, and with errata board, I mean, the horse should fire. And then I don't know. I don't know what to do with the 5 Just Might. I feel like Just Might has run like 2 really awesome races on the dirt, and they just like keep putting this horse on the turf for some reason. Kind of like the opposite of Diamond Dupes, although Diamond Dupes has won on both surfaces. But Just Might he's ran good figs, but he just hasn't won. He hasn't won since 2 years ago almost. So I don't know why they keep running this horse on turf. Probably just to try him back on dirt, but I don't know. The figs fit, but the horse doesn't win. So this is probably, instead of more of like a B, might be more of like a horse a key underneath and in vertical type plays. But it was
John Massey was saying that Just might be facing a lot softer company here, and although I do agree with him in this case, my issue with Just Might is the horse is over 6 at Churchill and only 2 for 18 lifetime on turf. I don't really know if this is a turf horse, and I don't really know. I don't think at 8-1 I can get interested in Just Might. At 20-1, I'm more interested in Just Might, which I think is sort of appropriate odds from in the spot.
Got a question from a chat from Mr. John Wilbanks over here asking, is Guildsman too much over his head?
So.
Yes.
I don't think he's over his head. I just think he needs 6 to 6.5 furlongs, and I just think this is too sharp.
Yeah. Although he does get the some people say that first time gelding is the ultimate equipment change. However, I think Rispoli on turf might be an even bigger equipment change. So I don't know. I mean, I was interested, but I just don't know. Taking a P-type horse or a horse that's going to be coming from like 2 or 3 lengths off of it, versus a horse that might be coming 4 or 5 plus off of it. I don't know if I want a horse coming from that far back in this race, but I mean, Gildsman was a little interesting from a hay like lone S type thing.
Yeah, and I also think second start of the 4-year-old season for Gildsman, a little bit interesting. It's a horse I don't want to let beat me in like a pick 5, but if I was playing a slammed, pick 3, I'm 100% okay with Gildsman beating me. A horse I want a little money going through, but it really needs to improve quite a bit to be a player in that race.
All right, so before we get to the Oaks, we've made like amazing time, which is weird because I thought we were going to just take forever in here. But before we move on to the Oaks, which I know we're going to get to, let's talk a little strategy here. All right, let's talk a little strategy. Let's get Caleb into. Let's see how. Yeah, there we go. That's a good view here. So Caleb takes up half the screen. So how like. Now, Mark, I know you're doing the group ticket, right? So
Yep.
You got money going to the group ticket. How are you approaching the day? I know John Massey and Chase and I talked about this a little bit, but how are you approaching this? Are you just going to play every pick 5 the whole day?
No.
Are you?
I'm going to go through here and selectively target pick 5s. I think have a high VAR. I'm looking for. I tend to be somebody that's more comfortable playing bigger tickets. I don't have a problem being very spready by having 4 or 5 A's or having a very spready ticket. So I'm going to look for those high variability sequences. I don't think I see a lot of that on Friday. Maybe the very late. Pick 5 might be something. The one that starts in race 9 might be one I want to take a little bit of a stab at, just because I think race 9 has a chance for a price, big spreads fields, and that I can get really aggressive in race 12. So I might do something like that, but I think for me, it's more I'm going to spot when you give me 4 pick 5s a day, I'm going to be a little bit more specific and try to target those ones that I feel that my play style best fits.
Caleb, what about you?
As much as I would love to tell you guys that I'm not going to play every pick 5 tomorrow.
I took the day off of work. I'm going to be getting silly in the morning.
Probably the only reason I won't bet every pick 5 is, as if for some reason, there's a bunch of scratches. And, I think that pick 5, it starts in, race I think there's that stretch of races I talked about earlier, like 6, 7, and 8 that look really chalky to me. I think the early pick 5 looks really tough. I think the late pick 5 looks tough. I'll probably concentrate on the all stakes pick 5, which I think starts in race 7, I want to say. But I'm not going to exclusively play the pick 5s as much as I may go after them. Definitely want to make sure that if my best opinions are right, that I'm going to get paid for them. So I really think Aunt Pearl's a lead pipe lock. I'm going to try to get something with her, and I don't know, maybe try to find a way to get gift list to not run seconds in an exacta. Maybe try to double into a horse that's not She Dares the Devil or Dunbar Road in the Latro N. So I'm going to try to back up my plays with my best plays with some shorter bets like doubles or exactas. But I probably won't be doing anything too crazy for the most part.
Apparently the Bears just traded up for Justin Fields. So my everything is just blowing up for me right now.
Here, I'll be back in just one moment.
This feels dangerous. I don't know what he's gonna do.
He has a jersey already, doesn't he?
Oh my god. Although I was funny, I speaking of quick sideline on the draft. My buddies were telling me who's getting picked, and apparently some quarterback from North Dakota State University or something went 3rd, and I'm I didn't even know they had a football team. So
he's not the kid from the Buffalo Bills that was from I don't know, North Dakota State or something like that, and went whatever you want.
Oof. Yeah, my friends hate the pick. They're just not happy right now.
I mean, it's the Bears. They are very good at making terrible draft picks. So,
yeah. Yeah, they I think the Jets was Wilson is who they. I was like trying. Yeah, Zach Wilson, right?
Yeah, we were just talking about that before. It happened exactly the way that we thought.
Thank you, Mr. Massey, Sweet Sassy, correcting me. Yeah, Josh Allen was from Wyoming, and it was Carson Wentz that was from North Dakota State. I screwed that all up.
One of those white people schools.
Yeah. Wait a second, Mr. West Virginia, come on.
All right, so Chase, what did you go get? Did you have to get another drink?
No, I had to say goodnight to the girls.
Okay.
Wow.
We thought either you had to get another drink, or you were gonna come in with like some like fucking random jersey. So
No, all I have is a Drew Brees jersey, and it's big enough that I could wear it as a night shirt. It's not a good look for the stream.
I mean, or it could be.
That's true. It was
So
risque.
So Chase, what are you doing? What are you doing tomorrow? What's your plan for wagering?
I just looking through these races, especially with like the pick 5 that starts in race 7, or like the pick 6 that starts in race 6. Like I like chunks of those big sequences. I really hate all of those longer sequences though, because I feel like there is going to be like an insane price that comes in somewhere between races like 8 and 10. Like it just seems destined for it, and it's going to be the last horse that I cut because I didn't want to spend, $70, $80 on one of those tickets. And so I'm just going to try to split it up. I'm going to go 6 through 8, play my double, single, pick 3 with everybody but She Dares the Devil and the other horse, the other favorite. And then, I'll probably try to do something like 8 through 11, kind of the same way of just putting together, kind of just a nutso pick 3, because something crazy might happen, in the 8 bells. Something crazy I think is really going to happen in the turf sprint, like Johnny Unleashed. Everyone get ready for Johnny Unleashed time. So split them up. Avoid taking the big hit and trying to hit it, small within the sequence a couple times.
I'm literally like texting my friends these comments in chat, like just so they can commiserate with Jimmy Gwynn over here saying Justin Fields sucks. Worst quarterback in draft by far. Way to go, Bears. Back to back dude. I guess he meant duds. I mean they are dudes, but and John Wilbank saying that he never thought he'd see the Cowboys trade to the Eagles, but whatever. All right. Well, yeah, I'll probably be focused more on the later part of the card. I didn't take the whole day off because I started a new job, but I will be at the track. I think I'll be there by like 1:30, so I think I'll be there at a good time. As far as races go, I think what time does the first stakes race go off at?
9:30 Central. Oh, stakes race? I don't know.
Yeah,
First race is early as hell. You'll still be asleep.
Okay, so the Alishiba goes off right around the time gates open at Arlington. Which why isn't Arlington opening up at like 9 o'clock in the morning, like for Oaks Day? I don't fucking understand. But
I feel like we're at like the precipice of history right now. Like this is the day before Josh starts his, Occupy Arlington Park protest.
Dude, if you see like reports
and
of
he's going to change the fucking world. I've left that part out, of course.
If you see reports of an unnamed man on the poly track just laying in the ground, like it's not me. I'm just going to tell you right now, it was not me. But all right, let's move on to the big race here. Yeah, I'm pretty much just interested in playing this stuff late. I haven't even looked at the early yet, so I don't think I want to subject my bankroll to such abuse that early in the morning. But much like Caleb, who am I kidding? Am I kidding myself? Like I want to tell you that, but I'll probably have something going early too.
What was it? Ava's Grace that was the early scratch.
Yes, Ava's Grace. Okay. Ava's Grace scratched out of this race. So your morning line favorite is going to be the 10 Malathot at 5-2. And checks notes. Do I even have Malathot on my tickets? I do not believe I do. I'm not. I do not have Malthot on my tickets. I've hated this horse just consistently, and I think it's gotten to the point of irrationality.
Never stopped me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I couldn't even think of a good reason to leave her off my tickets at this point, but I did. But I ended up going with 6 different horses here. My top pick in this race is going to be out of the traditionally strongest prep for the Kentucky Oaks, the Fairground Oaks, winner of that, Travel Column for Brad Cox. Please note, if Aunt Pearl loses, I am probably going to rethink this. But I think Travel Column. I don't know how this looks on other figs, but I think Travel Column is coming in with the fastest fig of anybody here. Yeah, at least with the exception of search results, who I do have as a B. But Travel Column is going to be my top pick in this race. Horses, is just showing really, really good form. Finishing in the money every single one of her starts. I know Malthot's won every single one, but I think that this horse is coming in from a stronger prep than Malthot is coming in off of, and has got a bigger fig last time out. I don't know. This seems like a really good spot. I think Travel Column will be probably your second choice in this race. So not taking the chalk, but yeah, I don't know. I can't really express why I like the horse better than Malthot more than just the fact I think Travel Column has gone against better and has won against better than I think Malthot has. So that's why I have her as my top pick. The other horse I'm going to use as an A is a horse that I think Chase has just said, just talked about how garbage this horse is on a consistent basis, has spit on this horse's name consistently. And that's going to be the one, Pauline's Pearl, at 20-1. That last race, the fig came back pretty good. And on Brisna, it doesn't look that good, but Timeform's got that looking pretty good. And Timeform's got this race kind of being, setting up with a lot of pace. They don't have it updated for the scratch of Ava's Grace yet. So, this might set up for the 12 horse search results on the front end. But yeah, I'm going to take a shot with Pauline's Pearl. This is going to be another one of those plays where I'm making it based off of odds and off of figs. The horses, ran some nice figures, and the horse is going to be a good price. And I mean, maybe the public will catch up and realize that this horse shouldn't be 20-1. But I mean, at least based off the morning line, this seems like a really, really big overlay. So those are going to be my 2 horses I'm going to use as A's. I'm guessing you guys are going to talk about these other horses, so I won't talk too much more. But Chase, how did you see this one?
Yeah, I'm going to. This is such a race where I feel like you've got kind of a indecisive early speed. You've got a bunch of horses that like to run close to the front, but they don't necessarily really like to run fast, and so they kind of settle into that quickly moving amorphous blob of forwardly placed horses. And I think it makes it kind of extremely interesting for a horse like Malthot that can kind of settle into that pack a little bit. I'm also interested quite a bit in Crazy Beautiful as the horse that can kind of sit a little bit further back and watch all those horses that can't really decide what they want to do, just get super rank in the amorphous front runner blob. And I really like Crazy Beautiful as the price to kind of make a close into a pace that might develop. It's certainly a B kind of play, but we talked through the winter about the Todd Fletcher horses that you see at Aqueduct, and if it's a fake Todd or a real Todd. I think Malthot might be a real Todd. We'll find out more. I like that he was able to win at Keeneland after running at Aqueduct all winter. So yeah. Sorry.
He, as in Todd Fletcher. Todd Fletcher was able to win, right? That's what you were talking about, Chase.
Yeah, like he ran and did the tape break across the wire and everything.
Did he do this move?
He did it shirtless, which is weird.
But did he do this move?
Yeah,
yeah.
Chest out. But yeah, I'm Malathot, a little bit of Crazy Beautiful, and you probably got to use search results, but I'm doing it on like a B ticket. I think I want to more just kind of leverage my opinion onto like a Malathot over Crazy Beautiful exacta, or like a Malathot over Crazy Beautiful search results type exacta.
So before the other two you guys jump in here, like, is it irrational for me to not want to use search results solely based on the fact that search results is coming out of the Aqueduct races?
No, not at all.
Is it irrational? Because like I feel like a lot of these horses coming out of Aqueduct have not been running well at other tracks, and I don't know if I'm just like imagining that or if that's actually been happening. So
you're not imagining it. It's just it's different. It's the times aren't as fast. There's, they only go around 2 turns, a couple times. It's just it's a different place, Good for you if you're good at winter duck. That is its own unique skill set, though. You need to be prepared for that.
Josh, everybody I've talked to has said like, yeah, like I probably have to use search results. Like I have not talked to anybody who's like, search results is your winner. I'm excited to bet this horse. Because I think everybody thinks what you're thinking is like, well, like the horse is undefeated. It has early speed. There's no pace. The figs are good. But like, I don't know if I can really use this horse. I don't trust this horse. I don't like this horse. I want to toss this horse, but I guess I'll use it. I think it's exactly how I feel. I think it's how a lot of people feel, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm probably the one person that's excited on the face of the planet to bet search result. I think search result is my top choice in this race. Just looking at historically how the Kentucky Oaks has been won, if you look at the last 10 years, horses have been on the engine. You've had horses that are very much on the front end that have sort of wired this race. You look at all these horses, there are a ton of horses that have coming out of 4, 5, 6 horse races who have not shown any ability to pass any other horses. So for me, a horse that, with the 7 scratching out, or I think more than likely scratching out, search result ends up inheriting the lead. She doesn't have to pass any other horses. She just has to get the distance, and you have to hope that the figures she's put up at places, like in that Gazelle race, are legitimate. Now, I completely understand somebody saying that, it's the ducks. That's not where you want to prep for this kind of a race, and that quality of field is not as good, and that if this was a legitimate horse, why didn't, Chad have this horse in, in some place like, Gulfstream or something like that. But figures, I think from a pace setup, and I think the figures are there, I think search results my top choice. But again, we're having this big discussion in our group ticket work through. This is, if you want to buy a race on the 2 days, this is probably the race. I don't think there's any monster in here. I don't think there's any real horse that towers over the field. And if a horse is 30-1 wins this, it's not going to shock me.
I've been handicapping horses for a while now, and what I've learned, man, is that the Kentucky Oaks is just really fucking hard. It's just it's hard. It's just so fucking hard.
Your daughter,
why do they have to make it so hard?
Yeah, your daughter's just agreeing with you with how hard everything is.
Yeah, she's crying. She's crying about why do they have to make the Oaks stay so hard?
14 horses.
It's so something crazy is going to happen. Someone's going to maybe dump the rider. Someone else is going to jump into the infield. Another horse might, I don't know, might actually turn out to be Patch, and then everyone will say, "Aw!" It's just fucking. It's such a hard race. Good luck to everyone. That's all I have to say.
Caleb, what did you think here?
Yeah, I think this is a tricky race because there's part of me that wants a single Malafat and just go with it. I truly think she's a special filly. I mean, her Damn Dreaming of Julia ran one of the fastest races ever, basically. She's out of Curlin. She sold for $1 million. She's done nothing wrong. In fact, I'd argue she won each of her last 2 races, and she shouldn't have. Past the Champagne, a lot of people like this filly, and I'm not against her by any stretch. But a lot of people are saying, well, she moved too early last time and she moved at the perfect time. I mean, she made a perfect move, and it was just amazing that Malafat ran her down in that short stretch at Keeneland, going a mile and a 16th off the layoff. So there's a big piece of me that just really wants a single Malafat, because my problem is for each additional horse I add, it becomes a slippery slope to add a subsequent horse. If I include Travel Column, because I think this horse does look good, then it's like, well, I mean, I guess you kind of have to like clear air a little bit if you like Travel Column. And then search results could very well be Lone Speed with the scratch of Ava's Grace. I'm with you. I love Pauline's Pearl. I think she's super sneaky. She closed pretty well into a very slow pace in the Honeybee, and then came back and ran a pretty good effort in the Fantasy. Yeah, and then the next thing you know, Crazy Beautiful is not that far off on our 2-year-old figs. Past the Champagne, just lost by a head. And the next thing you know, you have every horse in the field. So I could see someone buying this race, or I could see someone singling this race. And to me, I think it just depends on what your opinions are elsewhere in the sequence. If you have a lot of strong opinions, then I think you can afford to spread here. But if you don't, then I would feel comfortable going into this with just Malafat. Or, if you don't believe in her quite that much, maybe like Travel Column and Malafat, for example. I'm going to be against search results. She didn't switch leads at all in either of her last 2 starts. I'm a bit of a mechanic snob. That bugs me. I don't think you get away with that against grade 1 fields going a mile and an eighth in the Oaks. I don't trust Aqueduct speed figures. And if it wasn't for IRAD and the scratch of Ava's Grace, I wouldn't even consider this horse. But both of those factors kind of has her on the defensive use category for me. But she's definitely not one that I want to have a ton of money going through.
Yeah, I ended up going 6 deep in this race total, and I thought you guys were going to talk about these other horses, and you guys didn't mention a single one of them. Chase did talk about Crazy Beautiful a little bit. I may or may not be. I may have kind of backed myself into a corner, and I think I'm going to be doing a Crazy Beautiful to Rock Your World double. From a tip I got from a couple friends, so I might be going that way. But I have Crazy Beautiful as a B in this race. There was some chatter in chat as well about the 5 Past the Champagne. It looks like both Jimmy and John were talking about this horse. Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like I kind of agree with you, Caleb, where once you kind of look past maybe the top 2 or 3 horses in this race, a lot of those other horses are starting to look like the same. And I think this is kind of the problem. Same thing in the Derby. And Past the Champagne is one of those horses just missed, beating Malafat last time out. You're going to probably get every bit of 15 to 1 here. So why not? I mean, it's got Mark and Chase's favorite trainer, George Weaver. So you're going to have to. I'm surprised you guys aren't more about it. Second favorite.
Tom Morley's my favorite trainer.
Tom Morley, yeah. Oh, but Chad Brown put Tom Morley back in his place. Oh, that was great. Check that out on Twitter. Look at Tom Morley.
No, I mean, I think the other thing with Past the Champagne is if you watch the gate break from that last one out, and Sweet Sassy will correct me if I say this wrong, but Past the Champagne basically bashed her head off the gate going at popping the gate. And there's a pretty good argument that if she doesn't bash her head off the gate, that she wins that race, and all of a sudden she's not 15 to 1, she's 3 to 1 in this race. So I think the morning line here is kind of a joke. I don't know if she's necessarily good enough. I tend to be leaning slightly against her, but it's a pretty good argument. I said the one horse that we haven't actually mentioned that I find a little bit interesting, and I'm waiting to see Caleb projectile vomit in here, is Miraz. I think Miraz at 30 to 1. You're getting a horse that, if you look at that two-back race probably fits really well with her. I think you can make some, a couple asterisks from that Santa Anita Oaks. And I think the other argument you have to sort of have is obviously, are these California horses shipping in and doing well versus some of the, the rest of the country? if they are doing well and they're being competitive, 30-1 is a massive overlay, I think, on Mraz, who very much from a time form standpoint at least fits.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess like one thing I'll say is you can kind of toss that Santa Anita Oaks, I think, because it was a 4-horse race. I mean, like I know they run a lot of those out west, but you get these really weird pace scenarios in these 4-horse races, and so I don't know what happened there. I mean, if you kind of excuse that and you look at the Santa
other 4-horse race.
Oh, is that also a 4-horse race? Shit.
Yeah.
Well,
because the monstrous 5-horse field she faced 3 back.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I was going to try and make a case for you, Mark, but yeah, I guess like I'm going to projectile vomit. Speaking of projectile vomit, though, I'm going to take a horse I know that Caleb absolutely hates. So I did mention the 12. I'll probably use the 12 in some way, shape, or form, maybe as a B. I don't know. I have it marked down here, and I think I might have added the 12 after the scratch of the 7, Ava's Grace, just because this could end up being Lone Speed. But yeah, 14 Milfoy. I don't know what's wrong with me, but
that's the works horse for now.
Is it really? I mean,
no, that was the works horse if you looked at the.
I bet this horse in the Gulfstream Oaks based off of that trouble trip that she had at Devona Dale, and I just was like, I was just looking my chops to bet this horse back, and I mean the horse ran a nice race, like an okay race, but I was just expecting the horse to win that last race, run a little bit better. I mean the horse is probably about 10 points too slow, but I don't know. I mean, maybe I can talk myself into Bill Mott bringing this horse along real slow. But I just thought that Milfoy is going to be one of those horses that's going to be sitting off the pace and might make a run. You got Rosario aboard. You have you have Curlin on top, so that distance isn't going to be a problem. So maybe the horse improves a little bit with the added distance. I don't know. But it was nice to see the horse was working well. So that's a nice piece of information. So I don't feel as dumb for taking the 14 here. But it's one of those things once again where I'd be much less interested in this horse at 10-1 than I would be at like 15-1 plus. So
didn't somebody? I could have swore somebody liked Clairiere. Did no one like that horse, or was that maybe like Dave or Murphy?
I like Clairiere. I mean, I think if you have that conversation, which is what are the 4 logicals, to me, she's the 4th most logical winner here. She fits. I just, I mean, she had that maiden break and everybody was talking, when she broke her maiden, everybody was talking about, the second coming of Secretariat or whatever. And, and she's sort of flattened out. She hasn't really necessarily developed from 2 to 3. She has every right to take a step forward here. She makes some sense. Gaff has been phenomenal. Obviously Asmussen has been doing his normal things. She fits here. And I think at 5-1 that she's probably priced about appropriately. But I guess there are just others here that I want more of than Clairiere.
So maybe I'm just crazy, but I'm kind of not interested in Clairiere because the jock. Like, is that just insane to think that?
I mean, in general, no. With Gaff Leone, I mean, I wouldn't toss the horse because of him.
Yeah,
but
Gaff in Kentucky. I mean, he's hitting at 30% right now, and Gaff in Kentucky is kind of a thing. So
yeah, but I mean, it's a Steve Asmussen horse.
Would you rather have Talamo?
Santana has ridden this horse before, and Santana is instead going to stay on Pauline's Pearl.
Was that choice or?
I mean, they're both Stone Street, so like I'm sure it doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I guess if you're going to read into the tea leaves on that one, maybe. But I don't know. To me, it's a pace thing. I just think when Ava's Grace scratched out, Clairiere was the worst. Her chances were hurt the worst, I think, from that scratch.
Agreed.
But she did have trouble in her last start. It's not noted in like running lines, but in the stretch run, she has a horse come out on her twice, and she kind of has to break stride and then kind of swerve out to the middle of the track to get clear. So I don't think she was probably going to ever beat Travel Column, but there is some trouble there if you really want to make the case for her.
John Massey saying to compare the preps, though, would you rather want a horse coming from Oaklawn or Fairgrounds for the Oaks? As John Massey is a Oaklawn apologist, so I'm guessing that he would rather have a horse coming from Oaklawn. Is that right? No.
I love Oaklawn. I mean, I love Oaklawn, and I don't like Fairgrounds at all. But in this race, Fairgrounds is where your most live horses are coming from, I think. Yeah, historically, it's the best prep.
Yeah,
and
it's like a 25% prep or something.
Yeah, you have some very live-looking horses between Clairiere and Travel Column coming out of that race. Although I really think Keeneland is going to be the key prep here, to be honest. The Ashland.
You think the Ashland's becoming the prep? I tend to agree with you, Caleb. So yeah.
All right. So gun to everybody's head. Caleb, who's your pick for the Oaks? One horse.
Malathat.
Mark.
Search result.
Chase.
Crazy Beautiful.
All right. Now I'm also going to take a long shot. I'm going to take the one Pauline's Pearl. So, because I mean, it's not going to be. It's going to just be that much more dramatic if Pauline's Pearl wins. But
I like it, Josh. I'll tell you, I'll have Pauline's Pearl on a number of exactas, trifectas, pick threes. I mean, I'm going to have her everywhere, but she'll be not the likeliest winner for me. I can't go that far.
I want to get into that race and be alive to horses like Pauline's Pearl.
John Massey's saying Clairiere.
Sweet Sassy, you're just wrong.
The way I play this is I just, instead of trying to like run whatever through it, I'm just going to try to focus in on the Oaks Derby double. And then I'm going to take my two horses that I really like with Crazy Beautiful and Malathat and try to connect it to, I'll have to Dutch it out, obviously, because there'll be some bet down to, I'll lose.
There's no probables pool for that.
You said there's no probables?
Nope, they won't give you probables for that. They never have. Unless it's new this year. They never have in history. So
you just know that you have to bet bigger to Essential Quality if you're going to use that in the second half of the daily double, because otherwise there could be a chance that you get Malathat and then Essential Quality, and if you didn't Dutch out your tickets, you could lose money there.
All right, real quick, hold on a second. Churchill Downs. Fucking look at the West Coast. Make this a fucking $5 double and a $15 takeout. You'll thank me later.
You are 100% correct there. If they did this on that if the Oaks Derby double was a $5 base, it would be so much better. And if they did because they normally do that Oaks, there's a pick three that's normally Oaks, and then it's into the the turf right before the Derby, and then the Derby. If they made that a $1 base, again, would be much better.
I mean, I think it'd be fun if they did all the turf races too. Like whatever, dude, just do all kinds of nonsense. Chase,
I'd like to be there when you pitch Churchill. Lower takeout bets on Kentucky Derby Day.
I fucking figured it out, which is Josh is he's like if Zach De La Roca from Rage Against the Machine, instead of being like invested in like economic rights and everything, was mostly invested in the gripes and slights of racetrack goers and gamblers. Like, I feel like that's a pretty good parallel. Like, two paths divided in a frosty wood, and you could have either been Rage Against the Machine or what you're doing now, and that was just it. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Malathat and try to hit the long shot dream Crazy Beautiful, and maybe try to connect it to Essential Quality Dutched up because it's going to be lower, and then to my two futures horses who I got a ride or die with Midnight Bourbon or King Fury.
I still can't believe you got live like futures wagers.
Place in January, man. I feel so fucking proud of myself.
You know what though? I like one of the best things about this year is like I know I can end the year and I can just look back and be like, you know what? There's no way that I made the worst wager in the history of the year. Like I did not, because you know what? There are people who fucking took like what was it, 2-1 or 9-5 or what did they take on that on Life is Good in that future pool?
Was it 2-1 or some shit?
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, talk about just burning money. Shout out to Goldmember, or whatever his name was, who's just was pounding that Life is Good drum for the whole year.
What I feel really great about is that I'm also alive in 2 futures exactas where I key boxed them, but the horses that I keyed in the key box were the all other 3-year-old males. And then I've got that live to like Essential Quality, one to live to King Fury. Like I've got 2 like great chances to cash that exacta too. Like it's insane. Like I don't know like if they'd put like smart juice in the local like water supply instead of the dumb juice that they've been putting in for my entire life. But yeah, it's yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Jeremy Brown saying some of those that run horses are the same that burn crosses.
That's very well, very. That's good. That's very good. It's we're too old for Caleb to get it, but yeah.
Poor and Joe Marcelo saying I needed to get to the sports book in time for the Obesos bet. Dude, they pulled the damn pool because Life is Good scratched. Oh. And now Obesos is like the it's going to be the My Boy Jack of this year. So shout out to
stupid ass Jack.
Yeah, I was going to say Works just came out, so I will start diving into those after this. But I know everybody was talking about Obesos working really well. So
I can't let myself. Dave has taken me down this road too many times. I can't let him be so. I can't listen to Ryder Dave be fucking jazzed about a workout video on Express Bet and like lose myself in Kentucky Derby picks before. Like I just can't. If he's like, dude, you have to watch the replay of so and so going 6 furlongs on the Express Bet website. It's like, man, you're gonna fuck up my day, Dave. God damn it.
My favorite Ryder Davism is when he goes, guys, like I haven't slept because I just keep on thinking about betting this horse. Like there's like a horse that like keeps him up at night because he's like, I'm gonna get 8-1 on this horse. Like I just can't sleep.
It was the one that he had in the Gulfstream pick 6, and it romped at Keeneland whenever it ran back. Empress something, I don't know, I can't remember.
Yeah, is that his cheap speed horse?
She runs on the front. That's for sure.
Yeah, he
like those kind of like marathon races, I think.
Yeah, like a lone cheap speed type. Yeah, sort of. Yeah. I can't remember what horse's name though. So.
Yeah. All right, that's gonna do it for us. We actually ended like probably like 45 minutes sooner than I thought we would go. So good job, everybody.
We
got through these races pretty quick. John Massey asking if anybody likes anything in the first 6 races. Was there anything out there that you guys were interested in?
Let me see. I actually took a look at a couple. Let me see.
Yeah, I said Caleb actually brought up that early pick 5. I think I may take a stab at that early pick 5, mainly because I love taking a stab into calamity factor sequences where there are just big spready fields where you have to have coverage, because how I play with the ABC type structure tends to lean into those really well. And I think I may take a stab at that early pick 5 and try to probably be most aggressive in the 5th race, just kind of singling to the 3 and the 5.
Well, hold on, real quick.
5 is tough.
Real quick, are you playing the middle pick 5 too, Mark?
No, I will probably.
Okay.
I may play the late.
I just wanted to make sure because you said I'm not going to play all the pick 5s, and then you're like, I'm going to play the early, I'm going to play the late. So I mean, you're just missing the middle.
I'm only playing half.
There's 4 of them.
There are 4. Christ. Race 1, race 3, race 7, and race 9. They start.
That's too many pick 5s.
Caleb, sorry.
There is a horse that
is the correct number of pick 5s.
It is the exact right number. I'm going to play the early pick 5. I think it's really wide open. The one horse that I would probably want to point out that I think is going to be a huge price is the 9 horse in the 3rd race, Hatmaker Holiday.
Yeah.
This is a Woodbine horse that has a lot of early speed in a race that doesn't have any clear-cut leader. I mean, there is other speed here, but there's routers cutting back that have shown speed. There's a couple of horses that flash speed in a maiden race here or there. This horse has gas. Broke its maiden on the synthetic at Woodbine in August of 2020. Tried to turf.
You're going to really pull a me and blind bet pasta? Is that what you're really doing here?
It's not. It's on dirt. So no.
Cutting edge analysis.
It's a dirt sprint. So it's like the least pasta kind of race you could have. But
which race was it?
The third race, the 9
Third race.
Hatmaker Holiday.
Yeah.
I saw it too. I like it. I was at least going to use it as a B, I think.
I mean, there's not a ton of obvious speed. And yes, the horse is too slow to win. But that August maiden score isn't that much too slow. And that was August of her 2-year-old season. With natural improvement, this horse should run a fig, if she's fit and ready, that is very competitive in this field.
You mean the fig she ran on synthetic on the horse that's never run on dirt?
She's never run on dirt, but I mean, she's handled synthetic, and Woodbine's not running right now. And this is not a barn that ships a ton of horses to the States. So, my thinking is to send her down and run her in this race, trainer has to think she's pretty live. The horse also gets Lasix and 20-1 with the pace advantage and figs that kind of makes sense. I'm interested in this horse. You need a price to be sure, but I'm definitely going to have some, doubles or pick threes going through the 9 here.
Actually, race 4, I have a horse that's 8-1 on the morning line. I hope I get it. I think I got a chance of getting it. And it's the 7 Tabor Hall, McPeak horse. Ran in the Honeybee, which I've been pretty hypercritical of the Oak Lawn Oaks preps, but I mean, ran well against horses that we all kind of liked with Pauline's Pearl, and it seems like it's going to be the early pace presence here. And honestly, when it comes to going 2 turns, I see the jockey change from Jose Ortiz, to Jose Ortiz from David Cohen, who I'm just not a huge fan of him. 2-turn route races. I feel like that's a huge upgrade, and that Tabor Hall might be pretty friggin' live, and a nice little price, in the next to send off leg in that early pick 5.
Yeah, I think the horse I'm most interested to bet on the early sequences in race 5, the 3-horse Segoe. It's a horse that really fits on figs. Obviously, you're getting Joe Rocco up, but the horse is 5 for 9 lifetime, won its last 2. Karakorai, on the sire side.
Hold on, can you say that one more time?
Segoe?
No, the sire.
Karakorai.
Hold on.
Karakanti?
Let me put on my reading glasses and observe this. Let's see here.
Damn it. Screwing up sire names. Yeah, so
Karakanite.
I mean, I had the first letter right. Come on, give me some credit. No, I mean, a horse really fits on figs. Coming into it in really, really, really good form, and I think is a super interesting player here if you can get anywhere near morning line.
It's Karaku Night, and the horse's name is Segui. That's how you say it. I'm trying to just mangle everything that you threw at me earlier.
If there was,
it's Seju. That's how you pronounce the GOI sound.
I mean, I am a huge fan of betting Karakanti on turf. I know Caleb is as well, especially in states such as Texas. So, John Massey said, Professor asked one more question when you thought you were going to be dismissed early. The famous last words of a band director is, one more time, as you proceed to do it like 30 more times. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at the early card yet, so I'll have to take your guys' word for it. I see a bunch of horses in these races though that are just like money burners. So,
my favorite horse, Spooky Channel's running. Yeah,
Cullum Road.
There are a few of your favorite horses in a couple of races. I think we actually need to have you do a race tomorrow where there's even some more of all your friends are in a race. And it's not as long as you normally like them, but there's a few horses in there that are right on the Caleb's friend list.
I'm so happy to see Finnick the Fierce has graduated into his like, fuck it, we'll try him on fucking turf, I guess, phase of his career after trying everything. It's just the last
give it up on everything. Yeah.
The last reprieve of a scoundrel who's been hoodwinked on some bloodstock, some bloodstock investment. That's like, Jesus, fucking see if we're running on turf. I don't know what else to do at this point.
Well, I was laughing because shit, I forgot. I blanked. Forget it.
I mean, Finnick the Fierce doesn't have an absolute lick of turf pedigree on top or bottom. He's the least turfy horse on the face of the planet. Well,
yeah, and that's what happens when you go, fuck.
I remember what I was going to say. Do you remember the horse Money Moves that like made it like snuck into the Derby?
That was my Wise Guy Derby horse.
Dude, you know that the
so ashamed to say.
The horse is in OTTB already. He's on a farm somewhere, fucking doing a second job. I think he's going to be a jumper.
Is he for real?
Yeah, he's going to. Dude, it's been like fucking 6 months into Derby, and they've already retared the horse.
God, I had
you were very wrong on that horse.
The shiniest tinfoil hat on for that. Man, like I was like, dude, I mean, look at the step up. There's no way he doesn't believe in this horse. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that there's so many gifts of Cardi B that are money moves related that it really kind of tilted my decision making a little bit more than it probably should have in terms of investment strategy for the old 2020 Kentucky Derby.
Oh man. Yeah, John Massey saying nothing says turf like mineshaft.
Yeah, I mean, when I think mineshaft, clearly the first thing that jumps to my mind is turf. Yeah.
He continues to get crushed by reminders of Giacomo because he was on closing arguments.
Mm.
Oh man.
So which one of us is just going to get all John Corded, all upside the head tomorrow?
Can we get John Corded? Does he have a single mount?
Oh yeah, no, he's there.
He's got a couple, I think.
Oof.
Court is.
He's got 2 mounts. Yeah, a fourth, and then in the Oaks he has a mount.
Dude, it would be amazing if John Court only had mounts in like the fucking races that both belong to 2 pick 5s.
He just
fucked all 4 of the pick 5s. Just all 4 of them. Like the 2 fucking races that link all 4 of them together. He's in both of them. All of them done.
Just the alpha and omega. Fuck you. That the unison. The point where those 5 pick 5s unite. That one race.
He's pretty close. He's in the 4th and the 11th. Those definitely feel like linchpin races there. Yeah.
Wait, who's he on the 11th?
It doesn't matter. All he does is make good decisions. Oh,
he's a real secret.
Oh.
The Dallas Stewart horse. Okay.
And I've been talking so much shit about Will Secret, about how, visually unimpressive his last races are. So primed for John Court to just, boom.
You know what I just realized? Will Secret was the horse you hated, not Pauline's Pearl.
Yeah, it's Will Secret I hated. I liked Pauline's Pearl quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So the only 2 mounts he has are both for Dallas Stewart. He is also in Take Charge Lauren in the 4th.
He must have dirt on him.
Or he needs Dallas Stewart has dirt on him and needs a real cheap jock to ride a bunch of shit mounts.
So I want to just end the stream with one last piece of advice for anybody who, maybe, Derby Days is not going the way you think, right? Or Oaks Day is not going the way you think, right? You're looking at your ADW and you see, 2 minutes to post to Santa Anita. Hold on, I gotta. Every single race, just bet Kent DeSormo. Just bet Kent. Just bet Kent. It makes no sense whatsoever. It does not. I don't understand where this man learned to ride again. Pay the rent with Kent.
Wow.
That's how we're gonna end this stream.
That's how we're gonna end the stream. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow at 7:30.
Can we never end a stream with Kent DeSormo again? That no stream should ever be.
I mean, I need
Yeah.
Kent DeSormo to be. I need the last race at Santa Anita to be a turf race.
Much less a financial budgeting system named after Kent DeSormo to pay the rent with Kent plan.
But the scary thing about Santa Anita is the fact that both Pratt and Pasta are in Kentucky.
Kent's going to be a 40% rider.
All right, so there was one horse on this card that I saw that was Pratt was up, but it had been Rispoli like every other race, and I was like, Mark's going to see this, and he's just going to throw a breaker and
exactly.
go catatonic for a couple days.
Yeah. So you just bet Juan in every race? That you just bet Juan every single race? Unless you kill it.
We need
that one.
Yeah.
I'll have to make the brain thing, right? And the little one says Juan. The one that's a little bit bigger says Pratt. The one that's a little bit bigger is going to be Rispoli. And the biggest one of all is going to be Kent DeSormo. All right? Because I'm telling you, dude, Kent has won races in turf races that he had no business winning at big prices. I don't understand. I was just memeing at some point, and then I ended up with like $700 extra in my ADW. So, I mean,
he might, with everyone who's leaving California right now, he might have shuffled up a good couple notches, compared to where he has been riding. You have Drayden Van Dyke leaving. You have all these. They're getting smaller. It's a smaller colony. There's a lot of like really young riders at Santa Anita right now. Maybe the Cream's rising to its shitty top, as it were.
The Cream rises to the top.
Oh yeah!
All right, we'll be live tomorrow at 7:30, 7:30 Central. Quick production note: I might have to give one of you guys the login just in case I'm running late. I don't know what time I'll be leaving the track, but and then. Yeah, we'll do a brief recap of Oaks Day tomorrow, so we'll probably go a little bit longer, and then we'll take a look at the Kentucky Derby card on Saturday. Make sure I did see someone in chat asking about. I think Jeremy was asking about putting a horizontal ticket together. Mark is putting the ticket together, so hit him up on Twitter or hit him up on Discord. I think the capping is like 99% done, but we'll. I think, and Mark, I mean, I might be talking out of turn, but I think there was there's a little bit of money left over, so we might be.
We just hit 5K, but we're gonna kind of push the budget up a little bit, and we have a couple other things we can attack, and I think a little more budget doesn't hurt. So yeah, great. Yeah, we have some room.
Cool. I feel like one of the wisest decisions I ever made was last year whenever I chipped into the group ticket. Telling Mark beforehand, I was like, listen, man, I'm paying you for a service. Like, I'm paying you not to think. Like, don't you fucking dare ask me my opinion on any of these horses in this sequence now. Like, I outsourced it to you. I don't want to think about it. That's your job.
This was more budget. This was more, not budget. This was more, I don't want Mark to hit on the group pick 6, and I am not a part of it. So just in case, I am going to be a part of every single group to put pick 6 ticket. So, funny. So just real quick, funny story is we've been doing group tickets in like a Twitter group I'm in, and like literally the one time I didn't toss in is the one time they hit. So I don't want that to happen.
How dare you?
Well, I heard that if they listened to you more, they would hit more.
How dare you talk about them in front of us like that? Like we're just not even fucking sitting here.
If they listened to me more once, we would have been in a little bit better position. And then they did listen to me the next week, and I was just wrong on every occasion. So, yeah, what comes around goes around, I guess.
Yeah, so we're just not enough for you anymore. Is what
Jeremy says. That's the last thing I want. My own opinion involved. So. All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you guys. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hit us up on Discord or hit us up on Twitter at wrong_lead. Our Discords or our Twitters are here, and we will catch you guys later.
Chase, are you on? You doing your stream thing?
Yeah. We've got our Oaks Day stream tomorrow at Eastern, 2 o'clock Central, and then I'll be doing their like full day stream for ABR Live. I think I'll be on. I'll have to check it. I can't remember if it's like 6:15 or 5:15 Eastern time, but sometime around there.
Definitely good to tune in. I know Blackjack's been hot, and you've been doing some good handicapping as well. So good content.
And Danielle is always hot.
Ow.
Yeah.